Well, hello, Trojan faithful, and just as promised, we are back in action for the men's edition of this battle between your TIU Trojans and the visiting Fighting Saints of St. Francis. This should be a quality contest, as here's Luwani already looking to get it going on the inside, and he lost the handle. St. Francis will garner the possession here. The Trojans come into this one under fourth-year head coach Greg Miller. They're 12-8 on the year, 7-5 in conference play. They have defended home court incredibly well, 5-1 here at Van Dixhorn, but that is countered by St. Francis having an even better 6-1 record on the road. So strength versus strength, and a slam by E.J. Charles. Great baseline feed, and oh boy, the Fighting Saints have come to play. An explosive first bucket of the afternoon, and Luwani shuffled with it. So an energetic start for St. Francis. Highlight reel, two-handed thumping jam by E.J. Charles. St. Francis, a solid team in their own right, 10-9 overall in the year, but they're 9-5 in conference play. They've really challenged themselves with their non-conference schedule. This is a deceptively good 10-9 record for St. Francis. To the inside goes Carter Fahey. Now he kicks out to Charles, who scored the opening bucket. To the corner. Here comes the Spanish native, Itor Anabatarde, but he's no good, and here comes Keontae Thomas, the do-it-all Trojan. Will draw a foul as he had Nadav Gerner of Israel in circles there. Thomas has had an impressive campaign for the Trojans, second on the team in scoring, third in rebounding, and leading them in assists. Here's Luwani, banging his way toward the inside. This one hit every inch of the rack but would not go down. Darius Wright on the drive, might have kicked it but no call. To the inside, Fahey battering against Presniakovis, and he gets it to go. So a quick start for the Fighting Saints. Thomas, the typical primary ball handler. Him and Xavier Cooper both very competent with the ball in their hands. Scooping layup is no good. Luwani tried to contest for the board, but eventually it's hauled in by Anabatarde. Here's Darius Wright. Ran into a Trojan wall. Thomas toward the paint, kicks to Cooper. Luwani will fire away a three. This one's too strong. Tip in by Presniakovis. That's Presniakovis' game. He will score any way that you think is possible. Anything you can come up with, he's going to find a way to get you a bucket. Very versatile, just has a nose for the rack, and leads this team in scoring at 12.6 points per game. Anabatarde against Cooper. Cooper, a terrific defender. Thomas comes over for the help, and Cooper scoops it off the hardwood. Presniakovis ahead of the pack. Athletic work just to hang on to it, but his lob falls into the waiting hands of Anabatarde. Lob, they were looking for E.J. Charles, who had the dunk earlier, but just a little bit out of sync. Instead, Darius Wright with the pull-up, no good. Thomas with the defensive effort, and Presniakovis snags the board. So if you were tuned in during the women's game, I told you this thing was going to play fast, and that's certainly been the case so far. Good defense by both sides, however, but a breakneck pace early on. Luwani spinning on the inside. It settles into the cup. Nice bucket for Brandon Luwani. Gerner over to Fahey. And there's an errant pass. Great effort by Wright just to handle it. Right over to that's Fahey again, and it is knocked out. The Trojans will take possession, so good resistance mounted by Trinity here after a tough and somewhat deflating start. The first bucket of the game was that absolutely massive throwdown from E.J. Charles, but Trinity has clawed back nicely, and we're even at 4, just about 4 minutes into this thing. Here's the versatile Xavier Cooper coming off a game where he finished just 2 points short of a triple-double. Now Jack Cahoon, the sharpshooter, a little too strong on his first long-range attempt. Fahey against Cooper. Cooper listed as a guard, but quite sizable on the inside, and now Wright is unable to handle the steam on that pass. He was going up with it before he had corralled it. So these Trojans coming off a 89-86 victory over Governor State to win their 4th game in their last 5 appearances. Here's Presniakovis quickly on the inside. No good, battle for the board, and USF comes up with it. But there was that outstanding effort from Cooper, who was just a bucket short of a double-double. He had 17 boards in that game. Keontae Thomas, as Wright gets the lay-in on the inside, makes good on his mistake last time. Thomas with 18 points and 8 dimes. And Presniakovis, who will fire away here, no good. But Cahoon with the tip in. Presniakovis had 22 last time out. And normally you'll see the role reversal on that sequence. Cahoon would be taking the 3 and Presniakovis with a tip in, with the Trojans showing their versatility on the rack attack from Presniakovis, or rather from Cahoon. Long range effort splashed home by Nadav Gerner. Gerner hailing from Ganai Tivka, Israel. Some international flair to this St. Francis team, a native of Israel, a native of Spain, both in their starting lineup. Impressive recruiting, and always great to see guys come from overseas and show what they can do here in the States, just continuing to add to this terrific sport. Thomas rises up and splashes home the mid-range elbow J. Trinity keeping pace. It's 9-8 in favor of the visitors. Gerner looking for his fellow international, but it's picked clean by Cooper, who goes 94 feet for the lay. Trojans take the advantage. These two teams battled earlier in the season on January 16th, so just a couple of weeks ago, as Wright is swarmed in the corner. Cooper able to haul in that errant pass and keep it with the Trojans. Now Cahoon on the drive, and offensive foul as Cahoon lost control. But these two teams battled earlier in the year, and the Trojans emerged victorious from that one in an uncharacteristically low-scoring ball game for their squad. The final was 80-70, a fairly comfortable win for Trinity and one of their best defensive efforts of the year. Well, I believe the Nadav Gerner 3-point attempt has now been ruled a 2-point basket because they're listing St. Francis with 8 points instead of 9, so just a quick housekeeping note there. Trinity by 2 here in the early going. Fast-paced shootout start, but both these squads coming to play solid defense as well. Brief delay at the scorer's table, some confusion, not sure exactly what it's about, but fourth-year man Greg Miller and Ryan Marks both conversing, and now both teams will be sent to the bench as the officials try to parse this one out. Well, I believe it's about that Gerner triple, and they've now once again awarded the 3-point basket. It is 10-9 on the scoreboard. So a little bit of confusion there, but it does look like they're going to count it as a 3-point bucket. Well, with that squared away, they're going to classify it as a triple for Nadav Gerner, and checking in for the first time is Ben Critt, number 12 in that mustard yellow of St. Francis. Justin Phillips also just into the game, but he has it stolen away. Now here's Thomas gliding to the cylinder, and he's fouled. Boy, Keontae Thomas just covering so much ground, just drifting to the rack with those long, effortless strides, and he creates an opportunity for himself at the free throw line. First one is no good from Thomas. This is an aspect of his game that you would like to see some improvement, is from the charity stripe. As the second one will sift its way through the cup. Back in the hands of St. Francis, who trail by 2. Now to the inside, it is Fahey, and he's got it to go. All knotted up at 11 apiece. Here goes Thomas. Thomas turns on the Jets, kicks it out to Jaden Thomas, and that one's just off the back heel for the reserve sharpshooter. Presniakovis had it knocked free, and a good team effort in the scramble for St. Francis to come away with it. Brilliant body control by Justin Phillips as he works it down court. Here is E.J. Charles with some nice touch, showing the diversity of his game, the athleticism for the clobbering dunk. And now he puts some touch on it and lofts that one up and in. Thomas looking to keep it going. He has the hot hand, but this one's swatted free. It'll stay Trinity ball. Deep rotation here for St. Francis. They'll bring on a couple of substitutes. Casimir Ochiaka, fifth-year man, number 23. Jake Carley is on number 24. And Lewis McGlasson also in. Ball will stay with Trinity. Not sure what happened there. It was kind of tossed up off the sidewall. That could have been a technical foul. But no call was made. Here's Jaden Thomas. Spinning to the inside, kicks to Cahoon, who shuffles it over to Thomas. Great ball movement. Credit the secondary assist to Jaden Thomas. And a slick feed by Cahoon to free up Keontae. Now a shove. Jaden Thomas took a shot, a forearm extension from Lewis McGlasson, and somehow Jaden Thomas is going to get credited with the foul here. That shove from McGlasson sent Thomas staggering backward. And somehow it's the Trojans that'll get tabbed for the violation. If you're just joining us, the women's game, the officiating was suspect at times, so hopefully we'll see a more consistent effort from these three men out here today. Phillips working against Thomas. Phillips bursts to the rack. No good. Cahoon got a piece and had it knocked out of his hands, so the ball will go to the Trojans. Thomas running the point, quietly putting together an absolutely spectacular campaign among the top 3 in scoring, rebounding, and assists, better than 11 points per game, and he leads the team with better than 5 assists per game. Here's Xavier Cooper on the money for 3, and he spun around to face the St. Francis bench as that one splashed through. A little bit of an edge from Xavier Cooper. Cooper also having a stellar and extremely versatile campaign. Second on the Trojans in assists, behind only Keontae Thomas, and leading the team in boards at the guard position. Very impressive, a true rarity there. Here's McGlasson, no good. Bodies spilling to the floor, and the possession will remain in the hands of a USF. This game's got some intensity to it. It's got some chippiness, and Both these squads going right at each other. A couple of teams looking to continue to establish themselves near the top of the CCAC table. Here's Phillips. Kicks out to McGlasson. McGlasson to Ochiara. With some touch, but it's Asher Blum who peels down the board. Blum, a terrific second-string center, as Thomas picks his way to the cup. Jaden Thomas with a great finish as he stayed under control, turning his brief loss of possession into his advantage, getting a nice bucket there. Creets. Over to Carley. Carley against Cooper, blasts past him, no good. Somehow gets his own and finishes. Much needed bucket for St. Francis as the Trojans were starting to pull away. Jaden Thomas looking to keep it rolling, gets it to Blum. Blum is hacked. They're going to get Ochiara for violating the space of Asher Blum. As the 6'8" center, the transfer from Cumberland University, went up for the bucket. Free throw from Bloom is good. Obviously, not a lot of teams have got the luxury of an All-American caliber player like Brandon Lawani in your starting lineup. But being able to bring the 6'8" post presence that is Asher Bloom off the bench, really helpful asset to the Trojans. And he accepts his role very nicely and contributes on a nightly basis. Scramble for the ball. Jack Cahoon took a finger to the face there. Unintentional, but nonetheless, a shot delivered to 22 in gray as this one's off of the hands of Ochiaka. Cahoon seems to be all right. Monte Lambert checking into the ball game for the first time. A versatile player, a microwave scorer for the Trojans as Thomas goes to the rim. Thought he had contact, but he won't get it. Jaden Thomas, that is. Now Cooper skying for the block. But a great mid-air adjustment for the finish by Jake Carley. Now we get a stoppage here. Frustration from Ochiaka. And now Coach Marks is venting as well to this officiating crew. Ball will stay with the Trojans. Lambert, by the way, checking in for the first time here, a native of New York, hailing from the Bronx, and he is shooting an absurd 63% from beyond the arc this year, so we'll see if he is able to continue that degree of efficiency this afternoon as he gets his first action. Well, that little debacle aside, Coach Marks on the sideline, by the way, he's got that COVID face mask as this one's batted out of bounds. And he took off that face mask to shout at the officials. I'm not really sure what the point of the mask is if you're going to take it off when you're projecting the most. So kind of an interesting moment. Perhaps the emotions getting the better of Coach Marks. Certainly understandable as this rebound is grabbed by Ochiaka. Tensions running high here at Van Dixhorn. It's been a fun and spirited start to this one. The Trojans by 3. Carley will fire away, looking to tie the ball game. And the last touch by Jaden Thomas as Ochiaka tried to reel in the board. Trojans locking down the inbound, but now Ochiaka has it, goes straight to the cup, and it spins off the cylinder. And Cooper has got it. Thomas in rhythm, Jaden Thomas, and it rims out. That thing was halfway down and looked like a jack-in-the-box as it sprung out of the rack. Now Cahoon knocks this one free. Last touch by St. Francis. Brilliant pestering defense by Jack Cahoon. Presniakovis will check back in, so the Trojans duo of high scorers out there simultaneously in Keontae Thomas and Diamond Presniakovis. Here's Lambert looking to get free inside, gets his own. He never stopped moving. That's why you follow your shot. And a gritty play by Lambert to make it a two-possession Trojan advantage. Now pestering defense by Lambert. And a Bitarda blasted to the rim, and he does draw the contact. .08 remaining in the first half, and it has certainly been an eventful one. Both these teams showing what they're capable of. Both squads shooting fairly effectively. The Trojans 43% from the field, St. Francis at 47%. Both free throws good for the Spanish native, Itor Anabatarda. Thomas working around the screen from Blum, rejects it as he slides to the rim. Pass kicked out to Lambert. Lambert looking to get to his spot. Out to Cooper. Cooper around the world with it and now gets it into Blum. Blum with the mid-range J comes up short. Couple of men on the same squad contesting for the board, and Phillips pries it free. Phillips against Presniakovis. Kicks it out for Fahey. Fahey off to a nice start. He's 2 of 2 from the field. Sliding inside. Good defense by Bloom. Around the perimeter to free up Fahey, but it's no good. Great ball movement, but not the finish the Fighting Saints were looking for. Trojans looking to go quick. Here's Cooper. It's pure. Xavier Cooper. He can give you 17 rebounds, or he can just splash down from long range. What can't this young man do for the Trojans? Here's McGlasson to the inside. Fahey. Fahey kicks it out. McGlasson frees up Phillips. Phillips looking for the answer, no good. And Anabatardi blasted off to draw the foul as he skied for the rebound. Trinity 25, St. Francis 19. A brilliant start to this contest. These two teams just going blow for blow. Gerner will inbound, gets it to E.J. Charles, and he's money on the three, so we've seen him throw down a forceful slam. We've seen him work his magic from the mid-range, and now we see him drill a tray, so not sure how you stop E.J. Charles. He's been a dynamo for the St. Francis team so far. This time he grabs the board off the Trojan miss. St. Francis will slow it up, and the versatile Fahey will take it down court. Toward the inside, Charles, a swarm of Trojan defenders, was able to envelop him and strip it away. Thomas into a thicket of mustard yellow, and he gets the and one finish. What an acrobatic bucket for Keontae Thomas, going straight at the defense and becoming the focal point as a scorer here. A brilliant bit of work from him. Looking to convert the three-point play, and he does. The Trojans pull ahead by 6. Here's Anabatarda. He is the leading scorer on this team with 15.2 a game, part of a three-headed monster, along with Darius Wright at 14.8 and Carter Fahey, who averages just over 14 as well. Here is Wright, over to E.J. Charles. Fahey fakes the handoff, give to Anabatarde. Anabatarde striding in, and a blocking foul against Xavier Cooper. Anabatarde forcing the issue there. And he is rewarded as he battered into Cooper inside the restricted area. Fouls called on the floor. 5 apiece for either team here, so the bonus could be a factor before the half is out. Nice little turnaround finish by Anabatarde. And he trims the deficit to just 4, so Trojans still out in front. But this just has the feel of a game that is not going to be decided until the closing moments. These two teams both showing some promise. Keontae Thomas taking it upon himself to go out and get buckets for Trinity. He's already got 9, just a couple points away from his season average. A great distributor as well, but he's been functioning in more of a scoring capacity here. Xavier Cooper, 3 from 3, and 2 out of 2 from beyond the arc to pile up 8 points for TIU. And all 8 men that have graced the court for Trinity are in the score sheet so far. A balanced and resilient effort for the Trojans. Just over 5 minutes remaining in this one, and this one has certainly lived up to the billing. Perhaps not the volumes of scoring that we're used to seeing, but the pace has been there. The high-flying acrobatics have been there. We saw E.J. Charles do it for St. Francis on the very first play of the game, blasting to the cup and thrusting down a huge dunk. And ever since then, that really set the tone. There's just been a lot of great action in this one tightly contested ball game. Here's Cooper. Out to Thomas. No hesitation. He pulls the trigger, but it'll spin on out. Darius Wright looking to push the pace. Might have had Gerner for a split second in the corner, but didn't see him. Now he sidesteps Thomas. Gerner driving baseline. Springs out of his hands, and Lambert grabs the board. Took some contact. And it will stay with the Trojans. Acrobatic play by Monte Lambert, as this one will stay with TIU. Keontae Thomas. A stellar start to this one. Same for Xavier Cooper. Quick pass popped inside to Presniakovis. The triangle formation. Now they get it to Lawani, and he stepped on the end line. Anabatarde a little slow to get up, clutching at his ankle, but he seems to be okay. As Lawani just wasn't entirely aware of his whereabouts this time around. Here is Gerner, the Israeli native. E.J. Charles, just 8 points a game for him, but he looks like a player capable of scoring way more than that with the way he's been this afternoon. Trojans have got it. Cooper gallivanting down court. Gets it out to Lambert. Lambert hesitates, now tries to drive a second time. Instead, he'll kick to Presniakovis. Lawani looking to be aggressive, at it poked free by Fahey. Good moves by Presniakovis, almost had him on the cut. Now Lawani spinning off glass. That's a tough move to stop, but it's slightly offline. Lambert picks up the loose change. All the way to the cup, a strong finish by Monte Lambert, going right into the chest of the defender to reestablish the 6-point edge for Trinity. Now a foul is going to go against Lambert. Too much body contact against Lambert on Darius Wright. Wright, a dynamic scorer, but he's been kept under wraps. Really, the entirety of the Big Three has .63% from beyond the arc for Lambert. Now here's Keontae Thomas. Gets some isolation. Now out to Lambert. Right back to Thomas. And a foul on the drive, so a much-needed reset of the shot clock for Thomas and TIU. Each team is on 6 fouls, so with 3 minutes remaining, the next one will vault the opposing team into the bonus and set up a 1-and-1 scenario. This one's looped into the backcourt for Cooper. Cooper driving on Girther. Triple, no good, spinning out for Lambert. He very nearly had another 3. Right. Pings it over to Fahey. Corner. Here's Gerner. No good. Rebound by the lengthy Anabatartha, and he takes a hard fall amongst the trees. Great effort by Anabatartha to just reach up above the grouping of Trinity defenders and pluck that rebound out of the sky. Anabatartha leading the team in scoring. He'll get to shoot a pair here. And that's his 5th point of this first frame. Jack Cahoon will check back in. Got poked in the face earlier, but evidently none the worse for wear, as Trinity will look to their offensive spark plug to help them continue what's been a strong first half run. Anabatartha's second one is on the money as well. Trojans with a 4-point advantage, been fluctuating between 4 and 6 for a little while now. St. Francis unable to close down the gap entirely. Lambert. Show and go. Lost the handle. Here comes Phillips. Trojans get back on defense nicely. Lob to Anabatartha. He's able to haul it in, but not make anything of the chance. Good dime by Anabatartha. A beautiful behind-the-back pass to set up his fellow standout, Darius Wright. Thomas steps into a tray. No good. Back heel for Keontae Thomas. That's been the only missing facet of his game. A couple of threes that have been too strong lately, and now Wright explodes to the cylinder. And all of a sudden, we are all knotted up at 30 apiece. Under 2 minutes to play. The Trojans looking for a strong finish to what's overall been a great first half. Bodies spilling to the floor. Jump ball. And tons of energy being pumped in by the Fighting Saint bench. They're feeling themselves here, and with as strong as this first half has been for the Trojans, it would be a gut-wrenching feeling if they could not be in possession of the first half advantage. But St. Francis is threatening to take the lead after a strong string of scoring to conclude matters here. Still 95 seconds left in this thing. Wright rolls it over to Charles. Here's Wright on the perimeter. Wright undersized, just 5'11", but he makes it happen. This time he's called for an offensive foul, however. So Trinity managing to erect a metaphorical dam and break up this Fighting Saint rapid here, as they have been coming on strong. See if Trinity can get a couple buckets of their own and go to the locker room feeling good about themselves. Both teams in the bonus. Just over a minute and 20 seconds to play, and now I believe a malfunction with the clock. So a little confusion here as it had not started on time. Thomas will take his time as he'll direct the Trojans through this offensive set. Cahoon on the perimeter to Lawani, working against Fahey. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar-esque skyhook from Lawani, and he puts it home. When the Trojans need a bucket, they turn to their trusty vet Lawani, the fifth-year Trinity star, getting it done. Now Anna Batarde finds the cutter. Offensive foul! Keontae Thomas takes the charge, and now it's the Trojans' turn to stand and clap as momentum is firmly back on their side. It was Jake Carley on the drive, went right into the chest of Thomas, but Thomas had beaten him to it, establishing position as he was barreled into by the overzealous Carley. Thomas high stepping it over to Presniakovas. Diamond launches it over to Keontae Thomas. Thomas looking for the inside. Return to center, but now the second time's a charm. Into Lawani. Lawani, hop step, mid-range jumper, in and out. Board for Anna Batarde. Here's Fahey as the shot clock is turned off. St. Francis will hold for the last attempt. Looking to even this up or possibly take the lead. 10 seconds remaining in period number one. Anna Batarde, 5 on the shot clock. They've got to get something off. Fahey, 1 on the gun, blocked by Lawani, but a foul called on the attempt. They're going to say Lawani got a piece of the hand of the shooter, and 3 free throws will be awarded to Carter Fahey, and dismay abounding in Van Dixhoorn Arena. I am not so sure about that one. The buzzer lit up as Fahey will shoot a trio of attempts from the line with the first half in the books. I do believe that Lawani made some contact with the hand of the shooter Fahey, who banks home the second, but it looked as if he blocked the ball first before he met up with the palm of the shooter. But nonetheless, the official's word is law, and a disappointing 3-point swing in favor of St. Francis will send us to the halftime break. The Fighting Saints do pull ahead. They fight back, and they've now got a 33-32 lead over the TIU Trojans. An entertaining first half. Be sure to join us for all the second half action. My name's Ethan Oscroba, and I will be right back with you after a quick break. More fireworks set to come from Van Dixhoorn. Second half should be a good one as Coach Miller drops to a knee and prepares his boys for what is to come. It's been a fun afternoon of Trojan basketball. The Trojan women with a gritty effort. Despite just having 7 players active for the contest and missing their 2 lead scorers, they put up a solid fight, keeping the St. Francis women's team close through the opening half before it got away from them a little bit late. But now the men's team of the Trojans has a very real chance to earn in a measure of vengeance for that women's squad that fell earlier today. The Trojan men trailing by 1. And it's time to buckle up and get ready for what should be a thrilling final 20 minutes of play. The Trojans in their home grays, it's Jack Cahoon, Xavier Cooper, Keontae Thomas, Diamond Presniakovas, and Brandon Lawani out there. The starters for the Trojans, slightly different configuration from the Fighting Saints. It's Justin Phillips, Itor Anabatarda, Carter Fahey, Darius Wright, and E.J. Charles out there for the Fighting Saints, clad in that mustard yellow. Here's Lawani, ducks into the bucket, trying to snare the board, but it is eventually ripped free by E.J. Charles, who has been doing it all, leading the way for St. Francis with 7 points. Now with the touch on the block as Charles kicks it out to Enabatarde. And the Spanish native making it happen from long range. Give him 9, the team's lead scorer at the moment. Presniakovis ducking inside now, swatted free. And Presniakovis is down, grabbing at his shoulder. It's 5-on-4 right now. He's still on the ground as Cooper's able to get a knee to it and kick it out, and the athletic training staff arriving, and Presniakovis evidently in some pain as he's able to climb up to his knees. Was rolling around for a moment and now trying to shake out that injured right arm. And it seems like he's been able to shake it for the most part. That looked like it could be fairly serious. Still grabbing at that arm as he will head out in favor of Asher Bloom and be checked out by this wonderful Trojan staff as they will seek to get TIU's lead scorer right. Fahey to the inside, Enabatarde goes in and creates an opportunity for the wide open Darius Wright. Enabatarde showing his multifaceted ability, distributing this time, and now this pass is picked off, and now grabbing at his right shoulder is Keontae Thomas as he makes his way back down the floor. So deja vu, and not in the way you want to see it happen. Back-to-back defensive possessions for the Trojans, players suffering a right shoulder injury. Seems as if Thomas' injury is of a lesser magnitude. We'll continue to update you on Presniakovis' condition. It was good to see him be able to get up fairly quickly and walk that off a little bit. Here's Phillips with the tray off the back heel. The board, however, coming out to Wright, who snared that thing uncontested. Fahey putting moves on Bloom, kicks it out. Enabatarde, side-winding triple is good. Timeout Trojans. And St. Francis starts the second half on an 8-0 run. They've gone straight at the Trojans to begin the second half. And in a matter of just under 2 minutes, they have opened up their largest lead of the ballgame. Well, a quick injury update and some good news to share. Diamond Presniakovis has been checked out by the Trojan athletic training staff, and he is in the huddle for this timeout. He's sitting on the Trojan bench now. So that is good to see. Does not seem to be favoring that shoulder too much. He was not given any tape or anything of that manner. Whether or not he has been cleared to return will remain to be seen, but nonetheless positive signs shortly after what was a scary moment with Diamond Presniakovis writhing on the wrong side of the hardwood. Here's Cooper, he draws the contact and will head to the line for a pair. Cooper forcing the issue. He still hasn't missed a field goal in this one, and he would have a chance to propel himself into double digits, save for the fact that it seems to have been called on the floor before the shooting motion of Cooper. Keontae Thomas to Xavier Cooper. Now Lawani bashing his way inside, out to his fellow big man Bloom. Cahoon on the triple, off the rim. Scrappy rebound for Lawani, but it's going the other way as he tosses the ball skyward in dismay. A foul is going to go against Brandon Lawani. He seemed to just be employing a good physical brand of basketball, but evidently the officials thought that he overstepped his boundary. Trojans picking up at half court here. Enabatarde gliding to the cylinder, and a nifty Euro step, aptly named for the European native, perfecting the move there. Brilliant bucket for Enabatarde, who now has got 14 to lead the way for the Fighting Saints, who are pulling away here. Trojans still haven't scored the second half. Cahoon looking to change that. He is fouled. So resilience has been a hallmark of this Trojan team all season long. And they are a combustible, incendiary offense capable of getting hot and playing their way right back into a ball game in short order. And even trailing by 11, there's not too much reason to fear. They've just got to stem the tide, roll with the punches, and find their offensive rhythm once more. Here's Cahoon. He's been quiet so far. Gets it into Lawani. Lawani jab, step, and a twist. And a nice finish from Brandon Lawani. Boy, he just makes those quick moves look so simple. Sometimes looks a tad gawky down there, but it's extremely effective. A great athlete who can cover a lot of ground very quickly. Here's Fahey working against him. Great defense by Lawani, just better offense there from Carter Fahey. Nice fall-away bucket in the paint. So that Lawani bucket getting the Trojans in the score sheet for the first time in this second half. They look to go to him again, but he lost the handle. Phillips trying to go all the way, but Cooper drags down the miss. Cooper now looking to return the favor into Bloom, who takes the contact from Fahey. Asher Bloom going up strong. A rare look where we get to see the two towers of Lawani and Bloom out there at the same time, and that brief spell will come to an end, it appears, with Lawani heading to the bench. Diamond Presniakovas is sitting at the scorer's table, so it appears he's been cleared to return, and there he goes. The Diamond is back in the ball game. So just a short-term injury for Presniakovas, showing some toughness here. We've seen him play through a couple of issues throughout the season, has tweaked his ankle a couple of times. This is one tough guy. And if he is capable of being out there, he's going to be out there and giving his best for the TIU Trojans. And his best has been quite good, leading the squad with nearly 13 points a game on the season. Anabatar there against Cooper. Handoff, three-pointer, Charles, no good. Board pings around, and the Plinko game ends up in the hands of Anabatar there. Fahey moseys around the perimeter. Fall away Jay. This time it won't settle in there. Thomas directly inside. Nice feed to Jack Cahoon. And Thomas, who scored 9 points early in this thing, now starting to show off as a distributor here. Phillips working his way through the defense. He's pestered on the outside. Phillips striding around Presniakovas. It is Charles, spins it up. It rolls down the heel and out. Back out to EJ. Charles engulfed by a duo of defenders. Shot clock down to 9. Charles carries it forward as he pings it up, and a foul called on the floor against the Trojans. Anabatar hauling in the board, and he is fired up. We'll see Nabil Kone check in. Nabil Kone, the sophomore, the native of Bamako, Mali, as he'll check in for Asher Bloom, perhaps seeking to nullify Anabatar's recent prowess. Fighting Saints countering by bringing in a big of their own. That's Casimir Ochiaka. Another foul called on the Trojans. It's going to be Kone picking up his first. Anabatar has drawn a pair of fouls on this possession alone. Well, Trinity clawing back with their recent spurt after the Fighting Saints had threatened to run away. It's 45-37 in favor of the visiting squad. The Trojans beat the Fighting Saints on the road earlier this season, as St. Francis will call a timeout. Good inbound defense by the Trojans. But the visitors looking to return the favor and best their conference rival at their home venue. diverse effort from the Trojans today. They've gotten contributions from 8 different scorers. Xavier Cooper has been the star of the show, 8 points on 3 of 3. 2 boards. Brandon Lawani has been finding his rhythm lately. He's got 6 points and a pair of rebounds. Keontae Thomas scored a lot early, but he's looking to get his rhythm back here. 9 points for him. That's the lead scorer on the Trojans. Inbound. Bouncing up to Anabatarde, and now here is Phillips, 13 on the shot clock, as he underhands it to Charles. Now the fake and the give back to Charles, who pirouettes inside and gets the nice bucket. Slick finish from E.J. Charles, who has been really impressive in this one so far. Thomas toward Kone, scoop shot under the bucket, no good. Keontae tried to grab the board, but Ochiaka ends up controlling it. Anabatarde, and now it is Justin Phillips getting extended run at the point guard position, is the 5th-year native of Northfield, Ohio. Here's Darius Wright, and he's chopped down near the baseline. Phillips, just as I say, he's getting some extended opportunity. He will head to the bench in favor of the starter at the point guard position, Nadav Gerner. Phillips has struggled from the field today, 0 for 4, though he does have a trio of rebounds. Gerner has been statistically the better option so far, though not too much production from that spot anyway. You slice it, Gerner just 1 for 3 with a 3-pointer. He'll pop this one inside to Ochiaka, no good. Kone wrestles down the board and is hacked as he held it up high. Fouls starting to pile up. That's 4 against each team. The bonus could definitely be a factor as this one winds down. Fighting Saints by 10. Thomas looking to cut into that, no good. Charles has got it. The Trojans shimmying back on defense effectively. Ochiaka against Kone. Gerber comes open, and Nadav Gerner sprays in the triple, his second 3-point make. The Israeli native starting to find his stroke. Presniakovis barreling inside, and he seemed a little shaken up after that one, but no foul called. Now Wright pulls up and retreats briefly. Darius Wright, the senior, just 5'11", has it poked free by Presniakovis. He's not that tall, but strong, broad-shouldered, very good player, averaging almost 15 points a game and providing a solid catalyst at the guard position for St. Francis. This time he is swarmed in the corner, engulfed by Cooper and Presniakovis, and the Trojans force another timeout from the Fighting Saints. So a chance to catch our breath here. 13 minutes and 5 seconds remaining in this ball game, and St. Francis had come out with their hair on fire in the second and final frame, establishing a solid lead and threatening to gain some separation from the Trojans, who now trail by 13. Itor Anabatarde, the native of Lasarte Oria, Spain, is threatening to really explode here. He's already nearly reached his season average. 14 points for him on just 4 of 5 shooting, and just when I said earlier in this one that the Trojans were keeping the big three of Anabatarde, Fahey, and Wright under wraps, you look up and they've got 14, 8, and 9 respectively. So that plan has not lasted. It hasn't come to fruition, and right on cue, there's Anabatarde with another mid-range J. St. Francis has their biggest lead of the contest. They are up by 15, and Batarde has got 16, already exceeding his impressive season average. Cooper steps into a tray. It's money. And boy, oh boy, did the Trojans need that. A timely triple by Xavier Cooper chews into the 15-point St. Francis edge. Gerner spinning around, stifling D from Jaden Thomas. Now right, pull up three. That one is off the mark. The board grabbed by Presniakovis. Cooper looking for another one. Three-pointer is good! Big time triple from Xavier Cooper, who still has not missed from the field. Give him 14, 5 of 5, and a perfect 4 of 4 from beyond the arc, including the last two possessions. Now it's given away. The Trojans have possession again. The lead is down to single digits. TIU is right back in this thing, showing some life with under 12 to play. The momentum is back in the hands of the home side, thanks to a pair of long-range splashdowns from Xavier Cooper. Thomas twisting. Mamba-like pull-up, but it's no good. And Darius Wright will look to restore order for St. Francis. To the inside, it's Fahey working against Kone. Fahey to the outside. They work it around to Kreitz. Now Fahey in the high post. Sauces it inside to Wright, but it's swatted out of the air. Trojans have a numbers advantage if they want to press it here. Kone on the inside, forced to retreat. Kone working against Fahey, looking to get his. Kone kicks it out to Cooper. Closing in was McGlasson. He wasn't going to let Cooper get another three away. And a foul will be called against the Fighting Saints. A furious Trojan run in the recent moments. And Trinity has sliced the advantage of the Fighting Saints down to just 9. Cooper's had the hot hand. We'll see if they feed him. Here's Jaden Thomas, the athletic sniper. Gets it over to Presniakovis. Here is Cooper. Cooper's been the man. Drives to the cup. Oh, it almost went down, but he'll head to the line. A terrific bit of mid-air acrobatics from Xavier Cooper. And he'll be rewarded with a trip to the charity stripe. Cooper to the line for the first time this afternoon. Looking to add on to what's been a terrific performance as he does nail the first. Cooper in number 25. He wore the number 3 earlier in the season as he misses that free throw. I don't know, maybe the switch injected some additional power into him because he's been great all season, but he's been exceptional of late. But no matter the number, you can always recognize Cooper from his tenacity and ability on both ends of the floor. Here's McGlasson. Now they work it inside to Kreitz. Kreitz has to get it to Wright. Sideline is an extra defender here, and good work by Presniakovis. Here come the Trojans, 3 against 2. Keontae Thomas took a major hit from Gerner. He stands in, and he'll head to the line for a pair. TIU is back on their horse and galloping straight at the St. Francis Fighting Saints. They are well on their way to erasing this once imposing 15-point deficit. They've whittled it down all the way to 8 with a chance to bite into it further here. First one comes up short from Thomas. Thomas, a 67% shooter entering this afternoon from the free throw line. Not bad, but definitely an aspect of his game that he would like to continue to improve on, as he's so good at driving to the rack and drawing that contact. Thomas does hit the second one here to cut the lead down to just 7. McGlasson to the corner and Creets. Fahey enveloped by a pair of defenders. Creets to Gerner. Mid-range for Fahey, clangs off the side of the rim. It'll stay with St. Francis. A questionable call there. Now the officials will get together and discuss it, and it's going to Trinity. Jaden Thomas already striding down the floor as he signaled it before the officials did, much to the delight of the Van Dixhorn Arena crowd. Presniakovis bowls it into play. Thomas will pick it up. Keontae Thomas, that is, and he gets it over to Jaden Thomas. Jaden rejects the Kone screen, steps back, thinks better of a shot as he gets it to Keontae. Keontae sent a defender lurching the wrong way. Now Cooper, money! Oh, baby! This man is on fire. Boy, it's freezing outside. It is snowing buckets as there's a foul against Keontae Thomas. We're living in a snow globe right now, but don't tell Xavier Cooper that, because it is plenty warm. In fact, red hot inside Van Dixhorn Arena with the clinical performance that he's putting up today. Give him 17 points, and he still hasn't missed from the field. 5 triples for Xavier Cooper. Now Gerner is fouled on the drive. I'll scratch that. It's going the way of TIU. And Coach Ryan Marks is irate. He'll have some words with the officials. Trinity is into the bonus. That's the 7th St. Francis foul. And TIU will have a 1-and-1 opportunity for Keontae Thomas with a chance to trim the deficit to just 1 possession. Well, this is a Trojan team that can get hot in a hurry, and they certainly have done so here, almost single-handedly riding the efforts of Xavier Cooper, the 5th-year star. The Denver, Colorado native has been absolutely sensational. So this will be a St. Francis inbound. So I believe the foul was called against the Trojans. However, as Fahey gets the and one on the inside. So a quick turn of events there. But not sure exactly what to make of that sequence, but I believe it must have been a technical foul called against St. Francis, putting Keontae Thomas to the stripe. And then the inbound was made by St. Francis. It's my best guess at working out that series of events. No official word from those down on the floor, so we'll just have to go with that. Here's Presniakovis. Injured his shoulder earlier. He seems to be all right. Shovels it up to Luani. Luani work against Fahey. Star against Star. Teardrop is good. Brilliant offense from Brandon Luani, as he continues to get more and more comfortable in his offensive rhythm as he returns from a serious ankle injury that he suffered in the opening contest last season. Gerner kicks to Creets. Creets is on the money from 3. Big time shot from Ben Creets. St. Francis with the answer, extending the lead back out to 7. Here's Cooper. 18 points, 6 of 6 from the field, 5 of 5 from 3. Now trying to get it started distributing. Back out to Cooper. He thought about another triple. He's feeling himself. Cooper off the back heel. So the first miss for Xavier Cooper in what's been an outstanding performance. Boy, we might have blown the roof off of this place had he drilled that one. Gerner out to Carly with a big-time tray. So the St. Francis substitutes, Creets and Carly with a couple of big shots. And now a jump ball. A lot of contact, but a jump ball as it is in and out of the hands of Brandon Lawani. So it's a game of shrieks and runs, and just when the Trojans seemed about to chase down their conference rival, St. Francis has a big offensive stretch. Miscommunication here on the inbound, but Girder able to retrieve it. Fahey to the corner. Anabatardi thought about a three. Instead, he drives baseline, kicks to Fahey. Easy layup for Carter Fahey. And all of a sudden, it's a double-digit deficit once more. 63-51, St. Francis. Timeout by Coach Miller and the Trojans. Anabatardi raising his palms to the heavens. He is fired up, and why not? It's been an outstanding ball game from him. The heroics of Xavier Cooper have been matched by those of Anabatardi, who's got 16 points, and Carter Fahey with 14 of his own. Those two combining for a remarkably efficient 10 out of 14 from the field. And 8 of 9 from the charity stripe. Anabatardi with an outstanding effort here. He's already got himself a double-double, 16 points and 10 rebounds for the slender Spaniard. He is putting on a clinic on both ends of the floor. Xavier Cooper doing likewise for Trinity. He's got himself 18 points and just missed his first shot from the field moments ago. That really felt like a turning point when that Cooper three would not go down. St. Francis going back the other way, scoring successfully. And so demoralizing for Greg Miller's boys when you have got a chance to completely erase a pretty imposing deficit. And the other team just takes the fight to you right away and goes ahead and reestablishes nearly the entirety of that margin. We'll see what the Trojans have in store. 7 minutes, 20 seconds left. Jaden Thomas driving to the cup, and he's fouled, a hard foul. Thomas thudded to the deck, but he earns himself a trip to the line. Foul against Fahey. And a pair of free throws for the Trinity sniper, Jaden Thomas. Thomas, such a valuable scorer off the bench. He's off the mark on this first free throw. But a terrific asset, can go to the rim and get you a bucket, and he just makes it rain from three. He will shoot from any range as Thomas does get the second one to sift its way through. Anabatardi over to Fahey. Here's Phillips. Phillips slings it back on to Fahey. Fahey, quite a versatile player. We've seen him at all three levels today, and he's been impressive. 14 points on 5 of 8 from the field. Thomas with the quick hands got in the cookie jar, but it still comes out to Phillips. Three-point attempt. McGlasson as the shot clock expires. It's Lewis McGlasson with the key triple, and the lead is back out to 14. Jaden Thomas with the answer. Boy, the Trojans needed every bit of that. Going right back down the floor, creating transition out of the made bucket. And Jaden Thomas sprays home a key three. Now here's Cooper. Right up in the grill of Anabatardi, and now a foul. That was terrific defense and looked to be clean defense from Xavier Cooper. But Anabatardi getting the call, and that is a tough break because Cooper had his man mired in a pit of tar back near the midcourt stripe, and he gets bailed out with the foul. Well, it'll actually be Fahey going to the line for what must have been an off-ball foul. That makes a little bit more sense, given that the defense of Cooper up top looked to be clean. Either way, the one-and-one opportunity, no good. Lawani stepping into a triple, no good. Foul under the bucket, and great persistence by Jaden Thomas to draw the loose ball foul and keep the possession with the Trojans. Time's running out on Trinity here. They'll need a solid stanza to finish this one off, trailing by 11. They quickly reduced a 15-point St. Francis edge to just 4. But then the Fighting Saints turned it on again, got it all the way back to a high water mark of 14 before Trinity has again embarked on the quest of cutting into that lead. Jaden Thomas at the line. He's got himself a quiet 7 points as this one spins out, including that key made 3 moments ago. Here's Darius Wright, the Floridian native, chucks it inside. Offensive foul against Fahey. And that'll send it the way of TIU. Lawani standing in there to take it. 10-point margin. Just under 6 minutes to go. It's been a back and forth affair throughout much of the first half. Then St. Francis pulling away in the second. The Trojans reeled them in, and now St. Francis back out in front. A little bit of contact at the top of the key, not called. And now an offensive foul against Jaden Thomas. I'm not so sure that Darius Wright has had his position established, but that's what the folks in the red and white, or rather the black and white vertical stripes had seen, and their opinion is the only one that matters. Anabatardi set to inbound. Trojans picking up full court. Looking like a series of defensive backs marking down their men. Wright will work against Jaden Thomas. Phillips harassed by Thomas. To the inside, Fahey flips it up for Wright. Wright has it knocked away. Good pursuit by Jaden Thomas and Xavier Cooper, as Monty Lambert will check in. A great stretch from Jaden Thomas, giving his team some life off the bench as he will earn a well-deserved rest. Phillips will inbound. Lofts it up for Anabatardi. He's been the star of the show so far, dueling with Xavier Cooper. Both men leading their teams. Here's Fahey, comes up way short. They're saying it's a block, and apparently Cooper did get a piece of it, as that thing fell significantly short of the requisite distance. But they are going to say that it was a block for Cooper. Some confusion here as they'll try to figure out the shot clock. Right now they're displaying just 2 seconds remaining in that big red figure over the backboard. And that does seem to indeed be the case. So it's pretty much a catch and shoot opportunity for St. Francis. Phillips to inbound, looking for the lob to Anabatardi. Instead, another 3 for Fahey. That didn't hit anything, and the shot clock expires, but it clearly hit the rim off the board from Anabatardi. Confusion here. Now the question is, I think there was still a second on the shot clock when Anabatardi caught that. The initial shot did not hit anything from Carter Fahey, but I'm not sure the shot clock started initially, so all's well that ends well. I do believe it should have been a violation, and that will be the call in the end. It's Trojan basketball. Thomas and Cahoon work on the quick handoff. Now here's Thomas. Thomas bashing his way inside. A lot of contact, but no foul. The ball will remain on the home side's end. Thomas out to Cooper. Cooper charging hard, and he draws another foul. So that's the 10th against St. Francis, and that will propel the Trojans into the double bonus. So 2 shots, no matter what, independent of the first one's result for Xavier Cooper a chance to add to his outstanding 18-point total. First one is no good, but he'll still have the second thanks to this being the 10th foul. Cooper, an outstanding afternoon. The free throw line, the one blemish on it, just 1 for 3 from the stripe. I'm not sure how many guards are going to get you 17 rebounds one night and then get you 18 points on the very next. Cooper unfortunately does miss a pair at the line, but it's been an outstanding effort from him in all other facets. Darius Wright with the cross. Pulls out of the shot to get it to Anabatarthi, and Lawani jumped and was just hanging on the rim, obstructing the bucket and denying the chance for Anabatarthi. A rare slip of the mind from the veteran Lawani as he leapt up as if to block the shot, and not sure if it was perhaps for safety reasons, if he thought he was going to land on a player, if he thought he was going to land awkwardly. You'd have to ask the man himself, but he just clutched onto the cylinder and obstructed the chance for Anabatarthi to put it home. So the officials will deliberate here, and it'll send Anabatarthi to the line. We're under 5 minutes to go now. The Trojans in need of a spark, trailing by 10. As Itor Anabatarthi will add to his already outstanding performance, his 17th point. One of just 2 Fighting Saints in double figures. But it's been a balanced effort from the Saints, as it has been from the Trojans. Really similar games being played by both of these squads, as Anabatarthi will shoot the second one, and it is good. Each team has had one player that's been carrying a massive load. That's been Cooper for the Trojans and Anabatarthi for the Fighting Saints, and they've gotten solid efforts from the supporting cast. The Fighting Saints just a little bit better, as Anabatarthi hits all 3 free throws. So I believe to clean that scenario up, there was the violation against, as Cahoon pulls up for a much-needed 3. It's no good, rebound Charles. But I believe there was the violation against Lawani, resulted in the 1 technical free throw, then the 2 free throws for a foul going against the Trojans as Anabatarthi went up. Well, with that squared away, here's a little dice inside. Anabatarthi, boy, this guy is just automatic. And he's feeling himself out there right now, and why not? Itor Anabatarthi with an absolutely unreal performance. He's been matched step for step by Cooper, who blasts to the rim, and he'll head to the line for a pair. We'll see if Cooper can remedy his free throw line woes that have been the only thing plaguing this opus this afternoon. He has been stellar in every other piece of the game. First free throw is no good off the front rim, and that puts the Trojan star at just 1 for 5 from the charity stripe. An 18-point, 4-rebound effort that has seen him be uber efficient from the field. He's nailed 5 threes, and again, he comes up short on the free throw, and now a foul against Trinity, and under 4 minutes to go. The hubcaps are loose, and the wheels seem ready to come off. We'll see what Coach Miller is able to do to pump some life and some sanity back into his squad, as they're looking at a potential split with their conference rival that they beat earlier this month. E.J. Charles will be the man heading to the line, and his per-game average of 8.2 points per game, not terribly impressive. You look at his performance tonight, his stats don't jump off the page, but this guy has been an athletic freak, and he showed that he can score from all 3 levels. He splashed home a beautiful triple. He's twisted on the inside and the mid-range and got some nice buckets, and he set the tone for this ball game. He opened this game with a crushing 2-handed slam that he just spanked through the rack. And he's been pretty impressive, though he's unable to convert on the free throw, and he'll stay in single digits. Charles does have 9 points and 9 boards, so a strong chance at a double-double should he stay on the floor here late. The Trojans here looking to rally for a comeback and earn their 13th win of the season. This is a Trinity team that's been extremely fun to watch, and they have scored in bunches all season long. The problem is they also tend to concede a lot of buckets, and that's part of what happens when you play at a fast pace. But I'm sure they will want to continue to shore up their defense. This team has so much potential. They love to go right at you. They've got a ton of big name star players who have played at a really high level this season. But they've certainly got some ground to make up on the defensive end, and interestingly enough, giving up 71 points with 3:53 left is fairly run-of-the-mill for the Trojans. They can concede points like that and still claim a victory, but the problem tonight is just the lack of offensive firepower. It's not that they've been bad, but with the pace they like to play at and sometimes the sporadic defensive work, they really need to take care of business offensively. Nothing wrong with 42% from the field and 37% from three, but they're going to have to step it up with the style of basketball, the brand of ball that they like to play. One thing that Coach Miller will not like to look back on, no matter the result, even if the Trojans make a comeback, is just 45% from the free throw line. They've only hit 9 of their 20 attempts, and that is a lot of points that you're just leaving out on the floor. St. Francis is taking care of their opportunities from the stripe. They're shooting 79%. They've only missed 3. The Trojans have missed 11. And that's so infuriating for coaches. You practice free throws all the time. You drill it into your muscle memory, but in the game it's always a little bit different, and the Trojans hopefully will continue to gain more and more experience and shore up that weakness. Here's Lambert. Boy, he wanted to put a man on a poster. We've seen it before from him, but now he'll get called for the foul. The defender closing in late. Lambert tried an acrobatic move, but the shot does not fall in, and he gets called for the foul, and it's going the other way. Lambert was looking to hit the turbo button there. We have seen him cram home some emphatic slams over well-positioned defenders. He has got a tremendous vertical, great body control and athleticism mid-air, but unfortunately he's unable to provide us with a highlight there. Presniakovis checks back in as it's Darius Wright at the free throw line. He missed the first, but he nails the second one. 72-56 St. Francis. Does Trinity have one last gasp? Presniakovis navigating his way inside. Jab step Lawani. Lawani going right at the belly of Anabatarthi, and he draws the foul. So a crafty play from the fifth-year vet, drawing the contact, giving the Trojans a chance to score and stopping the clock. Of course, the issue thus far has just been converting from the free throw line. This is Lawani's first trip to that location, and he nails the first shot. That's 16-point St. Francis lead, their biggest of the evening, but Lawani helps take a chomp into it. Trojans still down by 14, 3:20 left. Wright being picked up long down the court by Cahoon. Wright pounding that dribble into the hardwood. Works free of Cahoon, but there's Cooper to pick him up. Now Charles with the one-handed snare. Fahey working against Cahoon, flings it out to Anabatarthi. Does Anabatarthi have one more magic trick? He draws a foul. So the onslaught just keeps on coming from Itor Anabatarthi. He's got 21 points, and he's just missed one shot in his 14 attempts from the field and the free throw line combined. We'll see if he can keep up that efficiency, and the commentator's curse perhaps coming into play there, as that one is no good off the back heel. Second one good for Itor. Accumulation of fouls no longer a concern for either team. Both squadrons are in double digits, and as a result, their counterparts are in the double bonus for the rest of the way. Lawani, penetrating baseline, picked up by a pair of defenders. Cooper, skillfully holding off the defender with his hip, gets it out to Presniakovis, who bangs home the tray, and timeout by Coach Marks and St. Francis. They don't want to let this thing get away. It's an 11-point advantage for the visiting squad, but it felt a lot more comfortable when it was 16 just moments ago. Some clutch work from the Trojans to eat into the deficit. And they're giving themselves a chance here late. This is a Trojan team that's been up and down in conference. They've had performances of better than 100 points. They've conceded performances of better than 100 points. And, you know, one thing you have to love about Coach Miller's squad here is that no matter what happens, no matter what the result is or who they're playing, you're going to see fireworks and you're going to see a show, and it's certainly been worth the price of admission tonight. Xavier Cooper has been outstanding for TIU, but he's been stuck on 18 points for a while now. They'll need to get him going if they're to make this comeback. In the interim, they've turned to Brandon Lawani, the veteran big man, has now reached double figures, and he's helped them chew into the deficit here. Keontae Thomas has only 2 points in the second half, and you would also love to see him come alive in the waning moments. Well, wherever the production comes from, the Trojans need it right about now. 2:30 left. Here's Gerner, the Israeli native. Picks his way through the defense. Lost the handle, stolen away. Cooper's got it. Cooper blasting to the rack. Kicks it out to Jaden Thomas, but he just couldn't secure the handle. Thomas was calling for it and perhaps a little too eager, as he was wide open for three. The pass a tad low. And Thomas was unable to scoop it up and attempt to cut the lead down to single digits. So tough break for TIU. They're starting to run out of time here. Full court press from the Trojans. Skillfully broken by the Fighting Saints. Here's Phillips out to Anabatarthi. Anabatarthi, the man of the hour. He's hacked. Very nearly a clean strip that would have sent Thomas unimpeded to the rim. But they're going to call the foul, and Anabatarthi will head to the line to add to his astonishing effort so far. A remarkable figure from Itor. He has 22 points on just 7 shots from the field. Remarkable efficiency, better than 3 points per shot from the floor. Absolutely remarkable efficiency. E.J. Charles will check back in as he continues to pursue his double-double. Another point and a rebound short. Anabatarthi is on the money with the free throw. Give him 23 for the afternoon. Cooper to the corner. Jaden Thomas, desperation three, got it! Big time triple by Jaden Thomas. And the lead is trimmed to 8. Active hands there from Thomas. Keontae Thomas, that is. Nearly had the strip, but instead it bounces past the boundary. Darius Wright. They need to get it past the timeline here. Anabatarthi has got 2 defenders on him. How much longer do they have? He gets it past. Now Wright is swarmed again. He just hangs on to it. And a timeout is called. Oh, baby. The Trojan defense clamping down. A unit that this team isn't known for is going to have to step up big, and that's a great first stride toward finding a way to make this thing a battle late. Well, St. Francis will be inbounding from their side of the floor, and they've only got half an offensive possession, really less than that, just 12 seconds remaining of the 30 that they began with. Now, I'm not so sure that this shouldn't have been a violation, as the shot clock was down to like 16 by the time the ball cleared midcourt. Definitely should have been a violation for not clearing the midcourt stripe in the requisite time, but the officials were not on the same page there, and it perhaps costing Trinity a possession. Sometimes it's as simple as that, just a couple breaks that haven't gone the Trojans' way tonight, and they find themselves in a 10-point hole in need of a Herculean effort down the stretch to find a way to pull this one out. One minute and 48 seconds remain in regulation. The Trojans trail by 4 possessions. They're going to need a stop, and then they're going to need to foul and hope that St. Francis struggles from the line. 4 on the shot clock. E.J. Charles has it poked free. Lawani with the steal. Full extension to keep it in. Great defensive sequence by the Trojans. 90 seconds left. Keontae Thomas to Jaden Thomas. Step back. Triple. No good. Charles skies for the rebound, and that might just be the dagger that finishes this affair. It was a good look for Jaden Thomas. Not an easy triple by any stretch of the imagination, but Thomas so good at creating space for himself. He had the separation. You couldn't ask for a better try, and it was just a little too strong from the Trinity swingman sharpshooter. Charles is on the money, and with that rebound and subsequent free throw make, he does achieve a double-double tonight, 10 points and 10 rebounds for the high-flying acrobat, and he gets a shooter's roll there. St. Francis by 12. Jaden Thomas to Cahoon. Thought about a tray. Cahoon burrowing his way inside. Nice bucket. Slick finish from Jack as he chops the St. Francis lead down to 10. Mere 72 seconds still residing on the clock as the Trojans' chances continue to dwindle, but it doesn't mean they are not fighting tooth and nail with everything they've got. Well, whatever happens here, folks, the Trojans will be back in action shortly. Wednesday, February the 1st, they will take the short little jog over to Palos Heights, Illinois to face off with Trinity Christian College in another CCAC bout. And 1 week from today, on February the 4th, they will be back here at Van Dixhorn Arena to face off with Roosevelt University in another conference billing. They get it into Anna Bertardi, but it's knocked free. Can the Trojans come up with it? They cannot. So it stays with the Fighting Saints, and the Trojans, in need of an explosive sequence, have been so close to it several times in the waning moments of this one. But just not quite able to catch those breaks from the basketball gods. The metaphorical basketball gods, of course. We're a monotheistic institution here. Phillips winding his way down the floor. Cahoon takes a spill. Now Charles steps in, pitches it out to Anabatardi. He finds Charles in the corner. Nice bit of keep away from the Fighting Saints as they run down the shot clock on a rim run. It's Fahey aborts mission to right, but he passes it to no one in particular. Jaden Thomas scoops it up. Thomas, nice layup. Can't quite get the finish, but he'll head to the stripe with 40 seconds remaining. Good work by St. Francis, even though it was an empty possession, to kill the clock and force the hand of the Trojans. We're going to have to act quickly and hope for some misses from the foul line or sloppy ball handling from this Fighting Saint team. Thomas' first one is no good, and he knew it right out of the hand, just stepping away, evidently disgusted with himself. Thomas, a great shooter. His touch has eluded him at times today, though he has provided a real spark off the Trojan bench. Shows some mental toughness as he bangs home the second to cut the lead to 9. Fahey with the inbound to Anabatardi. Phillips looking to break the Trojan press. Fahey streaking down court, and he's fouled from behind. So the Trojans looking to fend off an impending defeat. They're going to need to put their faith in a couple of miscues here from Fahey. No such luck on the first one. Fahey, a big burly guard. A little bit reminiscent of Xavier Cooper in terms of his ability and versatility. I guess he's listed as a forward, but has kind of played all over the place today as this one squirts free of the control of Cooper. Thomas stepping into a triple, no good. And it's batted out of bounds. Still with the Trojans, 21 seconds left. But lots of versatility, lots of ability on this St. Francis team. We saw the same thing from the Trojans. But St. Francis ultimately just a little bit more firepower this afternoon as they're closing in on a sweep at Van Dixhoorn in both the women's and men's games. Trinity not throwing in the towel just yet, though. Here's Thomas on the inbound, and now the whistles blow it dead. A little bit of confusion in the final seconds here. The officials conversing with those behind the scorer's table, looking to parse this one out. A vintage effort tonight from Xavier Cooper. Uber efficient. He made his first 6 shots from the field, 18 points on just 7 field goal attempts, but he's been outdueled by the Spanish star Itor Anabatardi, who has 23 points on just 7 shots from the field. Both of those men putting up an identical 6 of 7 from the floor. Cooper doing his damage from 3. He splashed home 5 of his 6 trays, and Anabatardi making a killing from the free throw line where he has hit 9 of his 11 attempts. Thomas looking for an option off the inbound, lunging forward, finally gets it in to Lawani, who paddles it up to himself and gets the teardrop finish on the inside. 8-point St. Francis lead. Anabatardi lofts it forward. 3 against 1, but the Fighting Saints will slow it down. E.J. Charles grabs it, and the Trojans are going to call off the Dogs. It was a fun one here. Anabatardi will raise his arms skyward. Jaden Thomas with one more frustrated clap, and that series of emotions pretty much encapsulates this whole afternoon. A thrilling contest. This was a lot of fun. Both sides showing what they're capable of. A little bit lower scoring than we're used to seeing from this Trojan team. But credit St. Francis holding the high-powered Trinity offense to just 44% from the field and 69 points. They come into Van Dixhoorn and get it done against this Trojan team. St. Francis goes to 11-9. Your Trojans drop to 12-9 on the season. And TIU will be back in action Wednesday night against Trinity Christian before returning here to Roosevelt. Xavier Cooper with 18, Brandon Lawani with 12, Jaden and Keontae Thomas each with 11 points to lead the way for the Trojans, but they're ultimately overcome in large part due to an outstanding effort by Itor Anabatardi with 23 for St. Francis. So this is going to do it for our coverage here from Van Dixhorn. My name is Ethan Osgrobo. It's been a fun afternoon of basketball. Thank you for joining us, and have a great Saturday night.